Good, whatever the time of the day or night it happens to be while you're watching this. My name's Max Furno. I'm the media and graphic designer for Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service. As always, we've got Pete. No, scratch that. It's just me this time. Pete's on holiday, sunning himself in the south of Scotland or somewhere. So it's just going to be me this time, but I thought it was such a long time since our last podcast that it was important to get one out there. So bear with me, I'm doing the whole lot on my own this time, so apologies in advance. I'm here in Dorchester Fire Station and I'd like to thank Robbie and his crews for putting up with me. As always, it is a working fire station, so the alarms may go off. It's only happened the once. Hopefully it won't happen this time, but you just have to bear with me for 30 seconds or so if it does, while we wait for the alarms to go off. Right, so what have we got coming up on the show today, I hear you ask? Well, we'll be having a look at some of the community engagement activities that we've been involved in since the last podcast, and then we're going to be looking at some of the incidents we've attended. And then stick around for the end because I'm going to be reading some of your emails out loud, that is, not to myself. Anyway, I digress. Let's get on with it and run VT. First up, in preparation for recruiting whole-time firefighters, we've been staging some Have a Go days right across the service. This supports our positive action of encouraging more applications from women and other underrepresented groups within the community. We invite people into our stations and give them hands-on experience of some of the equipment that firefighters use to show them that these days being a firefighter is an achievable career choice for more and more people. We continue to run our hugely popular Salamander and Spark courses with Trowbridge and Weymouth fire stations playing host this time. Young people aged between 12 and 17 were put through an intensive 5 days of training, learning some of the skills necessary to be a firefighter. While using real firefighting equipment, they also learned skills such as team building, understanding the consequences of antisocial behaviour in order to begin to see the advantages of improving their learning and performance for the future. To mark 30 years since 2 Christchurch firefighters tragically lost their lives during the Great Storm of 1987, a memorial ceremony was held at their graveside. The loss of Sub-Officer David Gregory and firefighter Graham White was felt deeply throughout Christchurch, and they have never been forgotten, especially by those in the local community who have followed them into the service. After the graveside ceremony, Chief Fire Officer Ben Ansell unveiled a commemorative plaque back at the fire station in the company of the families, Fire Authority members, ex-colleagues, retired Chief Fire Officer Trevor Bassett, who was Chief in 1987 of the then Dorset Fire Brigade, the Mayor and Mayoress of Christchurch, and current fire service personnel.
Thank you.
Between October and February, over 4,000 students from across Dorset and Wiltshire will experience the hard-hitting road safety presentation, Safe Drive, Stay Alive. Aimed at Year 11 and above, who will soon be learning to drive and whose friends may already be driving, the presentation uses powerful personal testimony and dramatic video footage to make the audience aware of the tragedy and suffering caused by road traffic collisions. Firefighters, medics, police officers, bereaved parents and people who have been directly involved in road traffic collisions recount their stories, often in heartbreaking detail. A group of young people aged 16 to 25 who are completed in the Prince's Trust Team programme have recently planned, fundraised and delivered a community project in partnership with the charity Caring for Communities and People. The charity aims to prevent homelessness by strengthening families and promoting independence by offering individual rooms for homeless young people aged 16 to 21. As part of their employment, teamwork and community skills qualification, the Prince's Trust team decided to redecorate rooms at Seven Oaks Foyer. 2 bedrooms and communal areas were also given an overhaul to make them brighter and more welcoming to the young people who use them. In November, the Chief Fire Officer opened the biennial UK Wildfire Conference, which was held at the Royal Bath Hotel in Bournemouth. The overall theme of the conference was Wildfire Resilience in a UK Context, by investigating how to make UK homes, communities and the landscape more wildfire resilient in the future. Watch manager Andy Elliott, station commander at Maiden Newton Fire Station, is one of only 12 wildfire tactical advisors for the UK. He recently returned from California after spending 3 weeks working with the Middletown crews of Cal Fire in their Lake Napa unit, and invited his colleagues from the USA National Fire Protection Association along to the conference to share their experiences. This will help to make us better prepared should the predictions that the UK will start to see more extreme wildfire weather due to climate change start to come true. Right, so that's some of the community engagement projects we've been involved in. Now let's have a look at some of the incidents we've attended. In September, we helped rescue 14 people trapped in the Jurassic skyline in Weymouth when it became stuck just a few metres short of its full height of 53 metres. Engineers called for our assistance when their efforts to free the stuck gondola had failed. Technical rescue crews from Weymouth and Poole, the aerial ladder platform from Westbourne, and a supporting crew from Dorchester worked with colleagues from Dorset Police, the local authority, the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency, and the attractions operators to free those trapped. The Coast Guard helicopter was able to rescue everybody trapped by winching them to safety. The rescue captured the imagination of both national and international media, with video footage and photos shared via Twitter being used on news bulletins around the world. We were called to a well-established fire in a Caution industrial estate in September. Crews did a fantastic job to prevent the fire spreading to adjoining buildings, but were unfortunately unable to save a van parked nearby. In total, 10 fire engines from Caution, Chippenham, Melksham, Trowbridge, Westleigh, Bradford-on-Avon, MOD Caution and Bath attended, as well as their aerial ladder platform and the Devices Incident Command Vehicle. Fire Control received a 999 call one evening in October, reporting there had been an explosion in a house in Chippenham. Working with a police drone unit, crews located a fire in the roof space of the property, allowing them to target resources and bring it swiftly under control. Volunteers from the British Red Cross were on hand to support local residents affected by the blast, and a building control officer from Wiltshire Council arrived on scene to check the integrity of the property, which received significant structural damage. Neighbours were evacuated overnight as a precaution, while a man suffering with serious burns was taken to hospital. His injuries are still considered to be life-threatening, and he remains heavily sedated at a specialist burns unit. With the assistance of Hampshire Fire and Rescue Service, we tackled a large fire in the trailer of a heavy goods vehicle on the A303 near Chicklade in October. The articulated trailer contained around 50 tonnes of scrap domestic appliances and was a particularly difficult blaze for firefighters to tackle, as the scrap metal kept reigniting every time water stopped being applied. Crews had to call upon an aerial appliance, water monitor, compressed air foam and around 30 cubic metres of sand in order to bring this blaze under control, just in time to reopen the road before the morning rush hour. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the emails that you've been sending in to me and Pete. New emailer Kate from our very own Fire Control has written in to say, hi Max and Pete, love the podcast, great work. From a control point of view, seeing the new appliance kit is very helpful. That apprentice certainly knew his stuff. Impressive. He certainly does know his stuff, Kate, and if you're wondering what she's talking about Callum, one of our apprentice firefighters based at Red Hill Park Fire Station. And if you go and have a look at the last podcast that we released, all will be explained. Kate continues, is it wrong that every time I see Max I want to sing Disco Inferno? Yes, that is very wrong, and you need to stop it right now, Kate. We've had this from regular emailer Kingers99, and he's sent us a joke. Hi Max and Pete, love the podcast. Only the one love there from Kingers99, so he likes the show, or he loves the show, but he doesn't, I think I'm reading that he doesn't quite love it as much as Kate does. Anyway, I'm digressing again. Kingers says, hi Max and Pete, love the podcast. How about adding a joke section to the outtakes at the end? Here's one to get you started. How does a firefighter show that they're planning for the future? They buy 2 cheese rolls. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that short-lived joke section of the podcast, and I think this is exactly the sort of stereotypical thing about firefighters that we're trying to get away from. So Kingers99, No more, thank you. I've had this from new emailer Max from Cricklade. Great name, by the way, Max. Hi there, I just wanted to say how much I love your podcasts. I am a fire cadet in Cricklade and hope to one day become a firefighter. I love all of your episodes and wish for you to do many more. I have watched every DWFire episode on your YouTube channel and love its content. Thank you very much for making the podcast, and I hope to see you in future episodes. I'm really excited for the next one. Well, thank you very much for that, Max, and I look forward to welcoming another Max to the service. I think the service will only get better the more Maxes that it has in it. I would like to point out this is my own personal view and not necessarily the view of the fire service. I had to say that for legal reasons. Right, so that's all of the emails that have come in. If you want to get in contact with me about the show, and no more jokes though, thank you very much. You can spell my surname. You can email me at max.furno@dwfire.org.uk. If you want to get in contact with Pete, when he can be bothered to turn up, that is, you can email him at the phonetically correct pete.cole@dwfire.org.uk. We do read each email that you send us. We might not read it on air, but if we do, we're assuming that you're happy for us to do so, unless you say so in the email. I'd just like to take this opportunity to say that we don't advertise the show in any way, so we really do rely on word of mouth. So, you know, tell a family member or a friend about the show, tell an enemy, you know, may find it builds bridges. You know, you've got something in common, and before you know it, you know, you're getting on. It's the service we're providing here. It really is making the world a better place. You can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or on iTunes or wherever it is you get your podcasts. Just search for DWFire. We're hosted by Podcast Garden, so we're available on Android. There's loads of videos of ours up on our YouTube channel at c/DWFire. And also, while you're there, don't forget to give us a thumbs up or write a 5-star review or leave us a comment. This show has been expertly produced. No, it's me this time, isn't it? All right, let's say this show has been cobbled together by me, Max Furno, and presented, and I use that word in its loosest possible terms, by me, Max Furno. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, no, sorry, I still don't have a catchphrase, but then I'm not a presenter, I'm a graphic designer. Enjoy your season festivities, and ho, 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 fade to black. Come back, Pete. All right.
I'm looking to see a little small table for the bay. No, not in here.
Okay. I don't know who that was. Good, whatever the time of the day or night it happens to be. That sounds terrible. I'm just waffling. I think I spat then. Sorry about that. Right, that's all the time we've... no. Right, that's all the time we've... no. I dropped it. Ooh, that sounds weird. Who? Who, me? Who? Who, me? Who, me? Who, me? I'm Max Furno. I'm the media and graphic designer for Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service. And I've been stood in a meeting room in Dorchester Fire Station talking to myself for the last half hour, going slightly mad. Okay. Cut.